Someone recently requested that I share a few of our favorite read alouds for the entire family. So in this video, I'm going to do just that. Hi everyone, I'm Michelle and this is A Common Life. I'm a homeschooling mom of 5 kids ages 4 through 12. And as a homeschooling mom, one of the things that we love to do is read alouds. Now, over the years, how we have done read alouds has drastically changed. When I had just a few children, we would just sit on the couch all together and read. And now we do a lot of our read alouds at nighttime. When our little boys are getting ready for bed or in their beds, we will read aloud to them. And sometimes we will all sit on the couch together and do read alouds. So I'm going to share with you just a few books today that have been our favorites to do during read aloud time. One of our all-time favorite read-aloud books is Island of the Blue Dolphins. I have read this book to all of my children, and we have done this during our morning basket time. I would read a chapter or so a day, and they would kind of draw as I was reading to them, and it worked really, really well for us. This book is great for all ages. All of my children loved listening to this book. And the nice thing about this book is that the chapters are not very long, and so we can kind of get through one chapter pretty quickly, although a lot of the time when I would read this book, they would want me to read like multiple chapters all in a row. They never wanted to hear just one chapter. So we've read this book several times already, and one of the really fun things about Island of the Blue Dolphins is that my children will try to kind of recreate this book by playing in the backyard, which is so funny because that is what I used to do when I was a little girl growing up. My best friend and I would play Island of the Blue Dolphins in my backyard, and it was so much fun. We would pretend that we were kind of stranded, and we would make like a little fake fire, and we would cook fish, which were actually leaves and things like that. It was just really, really fun. And so it's been great to be able to see that my children have been basically doing the same exact thing that I did as a child. I've loved seeing that. One of the things I really love about this book is that it really touches your heart. It is a really sweet story, but it's also a very hard story, and it's very difficult sometimes. And there are several parts in this where, my children were really upset, or at one point they all cried because it was just really, really sad. And so it goes through a whole range of emotions. It's a really good book with mature content, but not content that would be like inappropriate for young children. It's just very deep. And so I love this book. I would recommend this to every family to read this book. It is so, so good. Another book that we have read several times over the years is The Trumpet of the Swan. This is such a good book. I love this book because it's really good for both boys and girls. It is easy to get either boys or girls involved in the story. They love it. There are a lot of books like the Little House series that my boys did not take to as well as my daughter did. But this book is great for both boys and girls. It really, really is. So we love reading The Trumpet of the Swan. This is one, I'm trying to think, I read it with my older kids, and then I read it with all of them, and then I read it again with just my younger boys, and we've read it several times. It's just such a good book. It's just so fun to read out loud and just fun to listen to. So if you haven't read The Trumpet of the Swan, you definitely need to. And then E.B. White is just awesome. Charlotte's Web, I'm sure you guys have probably all read Charlotte's Web, but that's another one that the whole family can enjoy. It is such a good book. One of my favorite books to read aloud is The Tale of Despereaux by Kate DeMello. This book, for whatever reason, my husband does not like reading it aloud. He doesn't like her style. I love her style. I love her style so much. I really, really enjoy reading this out loud to the children. And The Tale of Despereaux is another one that's good for boys or girls, young or old. There's a couple parts that are like a little bit scary, but nothing that's, too over the top or anything that a young child wouldn't want to listen to. But it's also something that older children will enjoy as well. So if you haven't read The Tale of Despereaux, I would highly recommend it. It is such a good book. It's a little bit longer, as you can see. It's a longer book, but it's so good. It's such high quality, and I think you will enjoy reading it out loud. Now, the last read aloud that I want to share to you is actually a set of books by Sarah McLachlan, and they are the Sarah Plain and Tall books. We have the entire set. These are so good. Now, if you have children who will sit down and just read with you for hours, you can get through one of these books easily in a day. They're very, very short, but they're very, very good. I love these books. My daughter, I bought these for her, and she read through them in like a week or something like that. But then I sat down and read them with the little boys too, and they're so good. It's another set that is good for boys or girls. Either would like them. It's just a really great story. And it also is, a little bit of American history in there as well. So it's like a history lesson with a read aloud. So we love this series. I would highly, highly recommend it. And if you read these books, and then you can watch the movie. There's the Sarah Plain and Tall and then Skylark. And I'm not sure if there's another one or not. They're with Glenn Close and Christopher Walken. They're so good. Totally kid appropriate movies, so well done. So one of the things I love to do is read these books with the kids and then show them the movie. And sometimes the movie's not always the same. Like The Tale of Despero is not exactly like the book, but for these, it's just almost exactly the same, and it's so good with such good acting. So if you read through the books, then it would be fun to have like a family movie night and watch the movies together. Now, those are just a few books that I wanted to share with you, but I also wanted to let you know that we always use LibriVox to do our read alouds at night. And that has been a lot of fun because I don't have to sit there for, hours reading out loud to the kids, because some of them take forever to fall asleep. And so what we will do is we will pick a book. We recently read through, I think it was Alice in Wonderland. We read through lots of books recently, but we read through Alice in Wonderland. And I would play it for the kids. And then the next day I would say, okay, what do you remember? Tell me what happened in the story. And then they will kind of tell me wherever they remember, and then I can kind of gauge where to restart the story. Because sometimes their three boys share the room together, and so one may fall asleep before the other one does, and so I'll end it when they're all asleep. And so what I do is I just kind of backtrack to figure out what they have already, remembered from the story, and then we'll hear it again. So even if a couple of the kids are kind of repeating and hearing things again, that's okay. It's just going to help them remember the story even better. So that's something fun that we really like to do, and it's completely free. What are your favorite read aloud books that you use with your family? I would love to know. Please put them down in the comments below. I'm always looking for new books to read with my kids. I love reading out loud to them, and I love that they're almost all of them are getting to an age where they can kind of participate in that as well. So that's really, really fun. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. Have a great day.